Hello, this is Shifa here to talk about sex-linked genes. Have you ever wondered why mostly males are affected by color blindness? If you're thinking genetics is sexist, no, genetics is not sexist. This is actually due to sex-linked genes. What exactly are sex-linked genes? They are genes that are located on the sex chromosome. We all know the father of genetics, right? Gregor Mendel. Well, Mendel's second law of inheritance, which is the law of independent assortment, states that each pair of alleles segregates independently of the other pairs of alleles during gametogenesis. I have a case study to prove that Mendel's law of independent assortment is not true in all cases. But before I brief you on the case study, let me tell you about the chromosome theory of inheritance. Boveri-Sutton's chromosome theory of inheritance states that genes have specific locations on the chromosomes, and it is the chromosomes that undergo segregation and independent assortment. Well, now we know the location that Mendel could not specify. Thomas Hunt Morgan, an American biologist, his work provided strong support for the chromosome theory of inheritance. One thing to note is that before Morgan did his experiment, he was skeptical of the chromosome theory of inheritance. He believed more in Mendel's ideas. In 1908, Morgan mated fruit flies until he found a mutant type with white eyes instead of red eyes. He crossed flies with red eyes and white eyes. The F1 generation had red-eyed females and males only. In other words, when he looked at the phenotypes of this cross, he found a higher percentage of the offspring had the parental type than the predicted outcome by the law of independent assortment, meaning the offspring had red eyes. Of course, Morgan was not the first one to realize that the predicted outcomes by the law of assortment were not always true. However, in the second generation or F2 generation, Morgan saw the appearance of white-eyed fruit flies. All these fruit flies that had white eyes were male. Morgan realized that maybe this was related somehow to the chromosome that determines sex. His results indicated that these genes were on the same chromosome, the sex chromosome, specifically at the X chromosome. Since male fruit flies are hemizygous, they only need one copy of the X chromosome with the white allele from the mother to get white eyes. However, for a female fruit fly to have white eyes, she needs two copies of the X chromosome with the white allele, one from each parent. This is known as a sex-linked gene because the allele for another trait is linked with or on the sex chromosome.